I'm going to be speaking about authority marketing. And authority marketing is a little different than traditional internet marketing. And I'll get into that in a minute, and how to learn digital marketing and get entry-level web jobs. And so, as you know, this is my book, Web Marketing in All Cylinders, and our DVD series. And we have a software as well for strategy, plansprout.com. And the strategy chapter in my book has a series of forms, worksheets about SEO and social media and how you would plan that out and be more strategic. And so this software is free, and it helps you organize your marketing strategy. And that's me at Google headquarters.
Oh, cool.
That's a conference bike.
Oh, wow.
So you can have a meeting and everybody can sit around it and drive it around.
You can pedal it?
Yeah, you know, there are pedals for each of the seats.
Exercise?
Leave it to Google to make pedals from different directions all somehow work to contribute. Yeah, Google headquarters is awesome. They invite us there last 3 years in a row for our paid search ads.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's me in college, because I'm speaking to the schools. Going way back in time here, playing sitar in college.
That's great.
In Vermont. And so these are some features where I've been mentioned in writing that I've done on the Huffington Post. New York Times featured our seminar. I've written on the HubSpot blog. We've been featured in Boston Globe and Forbes and a bunch of other places. Just this weekend, we had an article that I wrote, came out on Search Engine Journal about the history of keyword research tools. And so this is a snapshot of how many people there are in the world, 7 billion, and 3 billion are online. And so that's a lot of people on the internet now, and it just keeps, you know, growing substantially. That's, you know, January of 2015. And yet schools aren't necessarily teaching enough about computer science, and they're trying and doing their best, but there is just so much demand, it's very hard to keep up. So there will be 1 million more jobs than students by 2020. So 1.4 million computing jobs and only a pretty small percentage of people studying.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How do you define computing jobs? Are those programmers or are those engineers?
You know, I don't know the study exactly, but yeah, I don't think it's just one thing, just programming. I think there's probably IT and networking and certain things within that. And the study, let's see, is the study listed there? You know, I'll have to get you the, oh, there it is, source, the College Board. Yeah.
They publish the SAT.
There's a really good infographic about this situation. So at the end there, it says computer science, 0.7% of students studying that as compared to, say, history. Now, history is an awesome thing to study, not knocking that. I love history myself. But if you want to get a job at McDougall Interactive and you say, I can tell you about, you know, Roman times or things like that, that's awesome. But right now we need to rank in Google. So unless we have you know, maybe a museum and we're writing content for that, maybe you could write about that. But, you know, so this is a very big issue. And the top 10 job trends, HTML5, according to Indeed.com/job trends, HTML5 is at the top. And within that top 10 is social media as well, sandwiched in with a bunch of programming languages. You said you studied computer science. Do you recognize any of those? Those aren't things that we use necessarily.
I've done some work with jQuery and MongoDB.
Yeah, jQuery is pretty common for us, but yeah, MongoDB, what is that technically? I'm not even sure.
It's a database management system.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a NoSQL database.
Yeah.
It doesn't use the SQL language.
Okay.
But it's like, instead of holding data in like the traditional like row and table style, it's kind of like, I think it's called a document store. So it kind of makes like a document.
Yeah.
Data in there. So in that way, it's easier to access like big
Right.
data and stuff like that.
So you know you're going to get a job right out of school, right?
Really?
Yeah. Knowing even, you know, I mean, I'm not a developer anymore. In the 90s, I used to program, but there are just so many new languages. We've had .NET and Python developers on staff. One of our past developers, is now a Google webmaster at Google headquarters, and she was great with Python and Django. But it just keeps changing, and they're all, you know, with mobile apps and mobile development, they're just all these new tools. So, you know, there's a huge shortage. So if you know, with that level of knowledge already, you're gonna do good with that. And so, do you have the right fit and personality for an internet marketing job? And there are a lot of different types of jobs. So if you're if you're this guy, you know, there's gonna be one kind of job that you're gonna want. Maybe you're the creative visual type, you know, or creative with language and a writer, or math skills and a programmer. You're a little bit of both, apparently, writing and some programming. But not everyone's going to mix all of that. And so it's good to try and think about the different styles of basically people in the world and personalities. There are even personality tests that you can take, Myers-Briggs and things like that. So I put it in the terms of like the cast of Star Trek. So there are different types of people are triggered by different things. Are you a Trekkie? You're a Trekkie, okay. Okay.
Spock just died.
Spock just died, oh no.
So sad.
Yeah,
I own all the movies, so yeah, I'm a freak.
okay, yeah. Yeah, no, Star Trek is great. One of our writers was a complete, such Trekkie, you definitely was, you know, had costumes with his wife, and they would go to the conferences. You don't have the conference, you don't have the costume yet. Yeah, that's the next step.
I went to one convention. It was hilarious.
Yeah. I live in Back Bay now, and so I was at the Prudential Center Mall a couple of years ago, and there was a Star Trek convention, so I walked through it. It was interesting. But, you know, there's a concept in internet marketing called personas and developing personas. So if you go to a website and you're an engineer like Spock, you're going to potentially scroll all the way to the bottom of the website and look for charts and graphs and maybe visit every single page, whereas Captain Kirk is more like a CEO and, you know, really quickly just bounce on the website, oh, featured in the Wall Street Journal, and bang, he hires them. You know, he doesn't necessarily have the time to do all the due diligence, but he might rely on Spock to do that for him. And there are different types of people. So when you build a website to try and get more conversions from it, you want to optimize for different people types. And it's the same when you're looking for a job. You want to think about the different roles out there and how you might fit in. So you might be, again, the creative type or the math type. Now, the guy on the right, it could probably do some sales for us, selling you a website.
Or used cars.
Yeah, used cars probably better. And, you know, project management. And so what we like to say is it's better to have a pit crew and not a webmaster. So the old like, oh, the website's in the IT department, and, you know, give it to the webmaster and he'll do everything internet, you know, build the website, design the website, you know, write the copy. Those days are long gone, thankfully, because, you know, there were some websites in the 90s that were like black and purple with unicorns, and it was for a bank kind of thing, you know. But those days are gone, and so you need a team of people to properly do internet marketing. And so you don't want to necessarily wear a lot of hats when you're trying to build your concept of who you are as a you know, a person trying to get a job in digital marketing. So people hate their webmasters and marketing people for the wrong reasons. They think they're not doing enough, but they're you know, they're really doing too much. You're trying to do too many things at once. There's SEO and email marketing, social networking, you know, podcasting. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do with digital marketing, and it's really impossible for one person to do the whole thing, to do everything. You know, so the internet marketing job types: strategist, web designer, web developer, SEO, link builder, PR person, social media marketer, analytics expert, copywriter, blogger, paid search, conversion optimization, email, local search, mobile, viral video. There's just so many different concepts. If you think you can, you know, do everything and say, oh, I do all, you know, yeah, I do everything. That's not going to get you a job as good as if you say, hey, you know what, I'm a great copywriter, or I can program in MongoDB or whatever. It is good to have some diverse background, and that's going to be a strength if you do have a little bit of different things. But if you're trying to build a career, it's good to focus on one thing and really build up that strength. And then those other skills are going to be, ancillary and help with that. But again, trying to kind of be all things to all people isn't going to help. And so what does a web designer do? A designer is usually art-oriented and creating graphics and designing websites. But these days, a graphic designer really would be well suited if they also have some programming skills, because there are very few schools that teach web design now that would let you just say, oh, great, focus just on graphic design, and there'll be plenty of jobs at ad agencies out there that will let you make print ads and things like that. The print campaigns have shrunk greatly, and they'll continue to shrink to a degree with, the Huffington Post now. When I got featured on there, I was kind of proud of that. So I was looking up how many visits do they get a month, and it's 117 million, and it's bigger than the New York Times or CNN. So the Huffington Post, more of a new media website than traditional CNN or New York Times, but it's bigger than that. So now media and ads are happening so much online that if you think you can just go get a job in graphic design, you potentially could, but you're competing with old school designers that have been around a long time, that have a ton of experience. So a lot better to also do some light programming if you're a designer. You might do social media profile design, banner ads, infographics, more new media stuff than just print ads or logos are a fantastic skill as well. That's an amazing skill to have, but you want to have a variety. And then what does a web developer do? Math-oriented computer science skills, developing applications, mobile apps, databases, e-commerce, building shopping carts, HTML, PHP, .NET, Python, Ruby on Rails. WordPress is powering 19% of the internet, so WordPress is a great skill to have. Drupal and Joomla are good as well. But web developers range from all these types of things and traditional web design and development to MongoDB and the other things that you were talking about there. And SEO is something that often misunderstood, and it's really a variety of things, starting with keywords, because search engines are driven largely by keywords. And yet, at the same time, these days, if you focus just on cramming a bunch of keywords in your website, SEO doesn't do well. You really need to create lots of content, helpful content, blogs, resource pages. So you need to pick the right keywords and write those keywords into your content and develop, but you really need to develop new content and then get people like the Huffington Post or a college website to link to you, or a topically related site like Avo, a lawyer website. If you can be connected to those hubs of information, Google is going to respect your website more. So SEO is really a variety of things, ranging from writing and keywords to link building, which is essentially public relations these days. And knowledge of web design and development is important because those keywords and those pages are on a website. So you really have to understand how that all goes together within reason. And then you're going to track the results using Google Analytics. And it's always changing. SEO, if you want to do SEO for a career, it's just, every other week there's something new coming out. So you have to be prepared for that. And a social media marketer is sharing content, engaging visitors, connecting with influencers, the influential people in a topical community online. You'd want to find out who those people are and what their status is and try and connect with them for yourself or the brand you're promoting. And you want to run, that's supposed to be contests, run contests, create images, and of course doing things Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Pinterest, and Instagram, different types of social media networks. But again, even social media is driven by content, so just going out there and fiddling on the program itself with, how Facebook functions and how you use the tool is only one part of it. To be a real influential person, you need to have some of your own content to be a thought leader, but also share the interesting content within your niche. So social media marketing isn't just about the technology, it's about legitimate content and engaging people in conversation. So it's not just media, it's a social activity. And then a paid search or pay-per-click expert is running Google ads and Bing ads potentially. Bing, of course, a lot smaller than Google now. Google is just so far above any of the other search engines. And paid search could also comprise of social media ads. But we often do competitive analysis using one tool, for example, is SEMrush. It's an amazing tool that tells you what keywords people are buying on Google Ads and how many keywords they're coming up for in Google organic search. So you might be writing the ads, the ad copy, managing Google AdWords and the ad groups. But again, that's just the technology of the platform of Google AdWords. But like social media or SEO, it's also driven by landing pages and content that really matters. So even if you do a great job making the right keywords into Google AdWords and sending people to a website, if that website experience isn't good, you're not going to do that well with just managing the Google Ads. You really need to think about the landing page experience and the content. So again, having content is really kind of a theme throughout all of these different jobs for the most part, or certainly a lot of them. And then retargeting is when you place ads on other websites through, for example, the Google network you can use. And if you go to a website and then suddenly you're off on some other website and there it is, it keeps following you around, that's retargeting. And you can run banner ads on the Google Content Network or place banner ads on websites. And you can adjust and create landing pages and track the results with Google Analytics. So that's a paid search or a pay-per-click expert. And conversion experts are people that figure out how to make more leads from the traffic that you already have. So if you have 100 visitors a month coming to your site and one person calls you or fills out a form, you would have a 1% conversion rate. And so the goal is to increase the conversion rate. So for every 100 people coming to your website, maybe you have 2 people or 10 people. And that is going to save a company money because now instead of always having to just get more traffic, you can get more leads from the traffic that you have. How you doing?
Good.
Good, welcome.
Thank you.
And so you can run A/B tests using tools like Optimizely, and Unbounce is a great landing page design tool that we use. And back to our earlier conversation about Star Trek, you can develop personas and think about the different types of people that would be coming to your site. Maybe put a video up for some people that really like to kind of click around and interact. Put testimonials and client lists up for the people that are really driven by who you work with. And have something for everyone, basically. And then analyze the data again in analytics. And a conversion person is suggesting design, copy, and code changes to a website, and always using Google Analytics to make those decisions. And then, of course, tracking the results and the amount of additional leads you're getting. And the last type of job that I'll talk about today is viral video experts. This is actually two guys that work with us, Jimmy and Justin. Fat Awesome is their website. I dare to even mention it. It's pretty wild. So, you might have to block your eyes here or there. But they're really funny. They've done videos with 10 million views and featured all the time on Comedy Central and Huffington Post. There's just a riot. And when they were in our office, we used to joke that they basically had the best job out of our crew because they're always just doing funny stuff and pranking us and making jokes all the time. But viral videos, as funny as it is, it's amazing how serious these guys are. When they're mapping out to do a funny video, they are strategizing, placing ads on Craigslist for actors, buying props and skits, and trying 10 different viral videos, making fools of themselves. Going into Cambridge, they did one where they gave money away, free money, and they had a booth for free money. It actually worked. That one was went pretty viral. People thought that was funny, but they, plenty of them that they do, people just think they're crazy and it doesn't work. But they have an awesome track record. But that's an example of a new media job that just wasn't there before. It used to be Super Bowl ads, and the big agencies would always control that. Now the big ad agencies are looking around occasionally to find guys like this that just kind of have that unique, quirky talent. So there's hope for if you want to have a crazy job. Those are Doritos, you can see that on YouTube. It's fatawesome.com and or YouTube for rejected Doritos commercial. And so how to learn. So of course, colleges teach internet marketing and they do a great job with certain things, but there's always, just by nature of digital marketing, you're going to need to go to the blogs to back it up. Having a college degree will give you writing skills and all kinds of solid skills, computer science and things that you can do that will build an awesome foundation. But eventually you're going to need to learn, because even, my book was a couple years old now. There are certain things that have changed. And it's just the way it is. You can't keep up with Google and Facebook and all the changes if you're not regularly reading, blogs and books as well, but definitely blogs are required because, for example, Google just came out with a new algorithm that they're going to unveil April 21st, and it has to do with mobile, and they're now requiring, if a website doesn't have a mobile-friendly website, and they have a tool where you can plug in endicott.edu and see if it's mobile-friendly, and if it fails, April 21st is D-Day. You're going to go down in the rankings if your website is not mobile-friendly. Google doesn't usually cue you off to, these are exactly the signals that are going to make you go down, because they don't want people reverse engineering their algorithm and, to get a leg up necessarily. They need to have their secret sauce. But in this case, having a mobile-friendly website is not really something that's you could do too much of. You can, make a faster loading, higher quality code experience, usability, mobile usability for people, and that's only going to help the whole internet. So Google's going to clean up the mobile internet April 21st. It's a big day. And so you wouldn't know about that from my book, for example. It just happened a couple of weeks ago. Google made the announcement. So Search Engine Land and Search Engine Watch, sites like that is what you got to follow. And there are online programs and certificates, which I can go over a little bit. But first, the top blogs. Search Engine Land is a big one. And, they're just constantly covering all these issues. Moz is one of the biggest SEO software tools. And Moz has an awesome blog for learning about, where the state of SEO is, et cetera. And really, Moz used to be called SEO Moz, and they changed the name just to Moz because people kind of felt like SEO gets a little bit of a bad rap if you're just focused on just keywords or technical SEO. You need to think about inbound marketing and content, not just SEO. But, I'm a big, SEO fan, of course, but when it's done right, And so SEO book's a good one. Search Engine Watch, Social Media Examiner, Marketing Land for more the broad general stuff. Mashable, Copy Blogger, and Pro Blogger. Those are two awesome sites for learning more about copywriting. And Influence at Work about persuasion marketing. And then certificate programs and e-learning sites. Market Motive is a website that we pay a subscription fee for, and there are videos and courses on SEO, paid search, analytics. Just got an email yesterday, the analytics program sold out in the spring and the summer, and they're taking applications for the fall. So yeah, analytics is totally sold out. And analytics is kind of, I don't want to call it dorky, but it's kind of back-end stuff. You're tweaking around with digits and numbers and thinking about stats of a website. I'm a huge fan. I'm actually speaking at Brandeis April 8th at their analytics symposium. And so I've been preparing my PowerPoint presentation for that and rethinking some things in analytics. I think it's awesome, but it's amazing to me that something that kind of back end and tweaky is sold out, and I think that's because, the more unusual sometimes or hard something is, like programming and analytics, if you study those things, you're gonna, there are jobs there because so few people will take the time to do that. So Market Motive is good. HubSpot has a certification. You guys should all take that. We've had Endicott interns take it in a few days, or one person did it in a few days. It was pretty quick. There's hours and hours of videos you need to watch, and you take this little certification program. It's pretty easy though, but it'll give you a broad brush of digital marketing and content marketing. And lynda.com is good, Online Marketing Institute, and Hootsuite is a social media tool that has a whole, an online university. And so these are top 12 tools for digital marketing. And, Excel, of all things, a spreadsheet tool is something very common for SEOs. We're constantly putting keywords in and, sorting things and making reports for clients. Google Analytics, as we just talked about. Google Webmaster Tools, you can connect to Google Analytics, and that will tell you things about Google crawling your website, errors that might be there, if it's mobile friendly, if there's page load time issues and things like that. So between Google Analytics and Google Webmaster Tools, you can get incredible insights for a website. And then keyword tools, the Google Keyword Planner in Google AdWords, you have to have an account now, but you can get one for free, will then give you what keywords to pick to put into either ads or organic SEO into blog posts, things like that. So AdWords.google.com, that's where you can sign up to run paid ads. A couple of our interns from Endicott as well have gotten jobs from running paid search ads. Pretty sure one or two of them were. John Marr, do you remember, was Adnan an Endicott intern?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to New York City and got a job in paid search. And he was from he was from Eastern Europe. And, his writing, you could tell that he was from another culture. Really smart guy, but, some writing challenges, but which he'll work out over time being in this country more. But I think that was awesome that he went and got a paid search job after being an intern. So, and then I remember another guy that was an intern for us for a while. I don't think he was from Endicott actually, but he struggled with some of the stuff that he was doing with us as an intern, but he managed to get a paid search job as well. So there are definitely a lot of jobs. If you get the Google Analytics certification for Google paid ads, Google makes almost all of its money, a vast majority of its money, from paid search. So the likelihood of that industry going away anytime soon is really small. SEO is fascinating and it's all about content and really interesting. It's like a puzzle, but Google can keep pulling the rug out from under you, whereas paid search ads, they're not going to pull the rug out from under that anytime soon. So that's a great place to get a job. Anyway, and so Hootsuite, HubSpot, Maz, Ahrefs, a great link building tool, Facebook advertising, MailChimp for email marketing is just one of the tools, MarketWired for submitting press releases. Those are just some tools that you can think about, and I can give you guys the presentation if you want it. And Internships, McDougall Interactive, of course, Mullen in Boston now, they used to be local here, and Digitas, Razorfish, iProspect, Portent out west, and Distilled. Portent and Distilled are West Coast, high-end digital agencies. And so I'm going to talk a little bit to wrap up about authority marketing and how to position yourself as an expert for your career, for yourself as a student, and if you then enter the workforce and you want to help a company be seen better online, if you can start blogging and have expert content around a specific niche, like one attorney that I was just pitching, two actually this week. They were both yesterday actually. One is in Tampa, Florida, and they're a personal injury lawyer. And personal injury law, it's kind of all over the map. You can do slip and fall lawsuits, auto accident lawsuits. There's all kinds of stuff that they do, medical malpractice, all kinds of stuff. And they're all fighting with each other on Google for these 20 different things that they all do the same thing. And the ones that pick a niche, like food poisoning, dog bite lawyer, medical malpractice, if you pick a niche and you really blog about it, there are websites, blogs, where this one food poisoning attorney has like 1,000 pages indexed in Google. And he wrote all this content, and you type in food poisoning attorney, this guy is everywhere. Whereas if you put in personal injury attorney, it's a lot more difficult to it's very competitive. It's not that you can't do it, but you want to pick a niche. And it's the same as a student, really. So eventually, if you're, at a law firm and you're working there and you blog about one topic, you could help that law firm a lot. So authority marketing is, as I was just saying, branding via specialization or picking a niche. And that selection of a niche, you would think it would narrow you down and you'd get less business, less jobs, less companies wanting to work with you, but you actually get more because now people all over the country say, oh my God, that's the law school student that also does internet marketing. I want to hire that guy, as opposed to, again, wearing all the hats. So, and then building a platform and a list is really important. So if you're long-term, if you have a blog and then you get people to sign up for your email list, you can then market to those people and you can be an authority by having your own, blog and email list. And so writing a book, like I did for, after, it was about 15 years into doing it, digital marketing, and then I decided, I want to get more national exposure and credibility, and so I put all that knowledge that I had been building up into a book, and now that's propelled me into all kinds of good things, features in the media and speaking engagements and higher paying clients and all that. And so that book, again, gets you more PR, public relations, gets you in the media. You do the public speaking. Your SEO is going to skyrocket, again, if you're targeting medical malpractice attorney instead of just personal injury attorney. You're going to do better with a specialization. Your social media is easier. You get more links from people. You'll have more sales influence, better conversion optimization. And, of course, you have to track it all with ROI, track the ROI with analytics. And so there's a concept of black hat and white hat. And black hat is when you'll do anything, like the porn sites will do anything to get themselves up at the top of the search engines. And ironically, one of the attorneys that I was talking about earlier, a tax attorney, had other attorneys buying porn links, if you can believe this, sending them to his website because Google will penalize you if you have bad links to your site. That's the Google Penguin algorithm. So he's been targeted by a couple of different attorneys that don't like him. And so they're buying porn links like on Fiverr for $5 and then pointing them at him. And then his ranks go down. Now every month we have to use the Google disavow tool, it's called. Create a spreadsheet of all the bad links, and there are like 1,000 of them. It's over 800 that we found that we have to put in this list. And then upload it to Google. It's called the Google disavow tool through Google Webmaster Tools. And you upload it to Google, and then it sits there in their black box. And when Google crawls all these 800 or 1,000 websites, and it sees that there's a link to this tax attorney site, it's going to nullify it. It's going to turn on the no-follow switch, and it won't pass what we call link juice. So, even though there are all these bad links, now they're nullified. But that's a pain in the butt. And Google had to clean up the internet and all the bad link building that was happening from black hats. And so they did open the door a bit for negative SEO. So it is a reality. It's just a fairly small percentage of people are big enough jerks to go buy porn links to your website, It's a pretty small percentage, but it does exist occasionally, and we have to clean it up. What exists more often than not is just a lawyer would have paid an SEO company $500 a month, and they go and get a bunch of crappy links, not necessarily buying totally crazy links, but directory links and article submission sites, and then we have to clean that up, whether, the lawyer might have done it intentionally or just their SEO company was doing it and they didn't really realize. But overall, authority marketing helps solve the idea of you don't want to be black hat. You want to be a thought leader, and that little guy is, leading the pack. And it's built into nature, essentially, that birds flock and fish school for a reason. There's safety in numbers, and there's usually somebody leading. You see birds flying, and there's one at the front. Fish are schooling, and somebody's got to kind of be the one out at front, and that's the thought leader. And so if you're a thought leader instead of just, I'm a personal injury attorney and I do it all, No, if you can say, I'm a thought leader in nursing home abuse law, you know, and you pick that and you're an expert in that. That was one of the guys I talked to yesterday. That guy was, he was the personal injury attorney in Tampa, Florida. And he's having mixed results because, again, he's trying to be all over the place. But when you become a thought leader, you really stand out. You know, Donald Trump, of course, possibly, you know, semi-annoying examples of thought leaders, but clearly a thought leader, right? Donald Trump's got a lot of knowledge. He wrote The Art of the Deal and all these pretty intense books, and like him or hate him, he's out there, and you know about this guy. And Oprah, of course. You might not know this thought leader. This is a SEO thought leader, the owner of SEO Maz, or now Maz, Maz Fishkin. And he wears yellow sneakers to all the conferences, so he kind of stands out with that, and he has this crazy mustache, and he does YouTube videos about SEO. Definitely recommend if you want to learn SEO, digital marketing in general. It's called Whiteboard Fridays, and he puts crazy stuff up on the whiteboard, and he talks about it, and he has millions of views on his SEO, kind of geeking out on SEO stuff. But being a thought leader means that you're not looking at the backside of your competition. Jimmy and Justin, the guys with the Doritos, did this for me, the cartoon. If you're not the lead dog, the view is always the same. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to see the other slides that they made that go with it, or the early versions that were more graphic that they did that I said, nope, that's not going to fly. I had to reduce the styling, let's say. They're crazy. But, you know, you want to be the lead dog, not, you know, leading from behind like, you know, some people leading us now. What's that?
I want that as a poster.
Oh, yeah? We can do that. We can do that. Yeah, that's good. We were thinking of taking some of the cartoons they did and making them posters in our office, but yeah, we'll have to make you one. So takeaways, determine your interests and pick a focus. Try a variety of things so you learn a little about copywriting, a little about paid search, SEO, social media, but then you really have to stick to something. Pick that niche and start a blog on it. It may sound kind of far-fetched, but you can start a blog very easily. You probably have started. Have you ever done that? Start a blog?
Yeah, I've tried a little bit of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a writer for SEO, you know, all you have to do to start is try one on WordPress. You know, you can start a free one pretty easily. Long term, you want to have, you know, joecopywriter.com/blog, and you have your own domain name with your blog indexing on that domain name, as opposed to joecopywriter.wordpress.com. But for starters, just start it up on WordPress. It's free. It takes, you know, minutes to create, and then you can write some articles. And then if you have a business card, or you should make one, and you go say, oh, I want to get an internship with McDougall Interactive or Mullen or Digitas, and maybe even at Mullen or Digitas it might be really competitive to get an internship. But you walk in with a little business card and you say, hey, I have a blog on, you know, MongoDB or something. They say, oh my God, we need that. You know, we need this guy. You know, we don't need MongoDB, but we're going to do something really similar. Can we teach you that? So having that niche in a little blog makes you stand out. And creating social media profiles, LinkedIn, Google+, those are all things that can help you, again, just look more professional, and employers are going to be blown away because I think a lot of people, you know, they go in the opposite and they say, oh, I can do anything, you know? And you say, yeah, I have experience with a few different things, but, you know, I've been focusing on this. And, you know, it'll reduce, some people won't hire you, but the people that do need that, they're going to, you know, you're going to stand out far above the other people. Yeah, and so that's it. And I appreciate it and happy to take any questions.